how we're going to be working as a group so that Jinn can reach its objectives, which is what your mission is. You can use this information for yourself to make anything happen, and I hope you do. But we're also going to be using this information specifically to get Jinn to where we want Jinn to go to. So first, know what you want. You can be either specific, you can be either general, or you can have a feeling. Regardless of what it is, you have to know why you want it. That's so important, and it's a missing key ingredient. You have to know why, and you have to ask yourself why. The process of doing that exercise is magical in and amongst itself. When you sit there and ask the why do I want it? Why do I want that watch? Why do I want that car? Why do I want all my bills paid? I want all my bills paid. Why? Because I don't like having bills. Why? Because I feel under financial pressure. So what do you want? I want my bills paid. Why? What do you want? I don't want to feel under financial pressure. No, that's what you don't want. What do you want? I want my bills paid. Why? Because I don't want to feel under financial pressure. What do you want? I want my bill. This is a process, and you would not believe how this actually goes. It's mind-numbing sometimes. Because I've had this conversation with people, and it's like a broken record. What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? I want my bills paid. Why? I don't want financial pressure. Okay, I understand that's what you don't want, but what do you want? If your bills were paid, what is that going to give you? I'm going to feel relief. Fine. Why do you want to feel relief? Because I feel pressure right now. So you don't like pressure? No. And so what do you want? I want relief. Well, what does relief give you? It gives me a sense of freedom. It makes me feel more secure. Thank you. We finally get to, it could take a long time to get to the root feeling that you're trying to achieve. You with me? Oh, I want to feel safe. Or the person may say, well, if I'm debt-free, I'm going to feel like I have accomplished something. Oh, good. So what you really want, the reason why you want your bills paid is because you want a sense of accomplishment. Yes. And if you have a sense of accomplishment, how are you going to feel? I'm going to feel like I've accomplished something. Okay, maybe we hit the end of the road here. You follow me? But you keep trying to dig. Is there something beyond that? Is there something beyond that? Is there something beyond that? This is very significant, this exercise. By doing this process on what you want, magical positive things will happen. Next, you have what you want, $10,000 a month. You know why you want it. You've really nailed it down to a feeling. Now you need to prepare your mind or clear your mind. You want to get some emotion involved. It doesn't have to be crazy emotion, just some emotion, and ideally, pleasure or pain to open up this window. You want to have this window. This is why when bad things happen, pop the champagne. You are given a gift. When I got the phone call with a $37 million firm, I had 8 people on the phone ready to try to make me feel better. I got my attorneys, everyone was in a state of shock. They were all in a state of shock, and they couldn't believe it. And I get the message. And I, honest to God, swear to God, this happened. I am not making this up. Matter of fact, Rob and Will, you guys are in here, right? Rob and Will, was Rob. Rob, you here? Oh, there's Will. Okay, you were at the Golden Door, that's right. And Mark, you were there too. We were hanging out with you saw all the billionaires there, right? There's more money in that place for that weight, boy. So he was at the Golden Door with me. We're down in Escondido. So I get the phone call, and first thing I say out of my mouth is, after I felt like I was slapped in the face, right? Punched in the stomach, in shock, not despair, shock, surprised, not upset, surprised, First thing I say is, pop the champagne. This is unbelievable. I can't believe it came out so good. And they're all like, did you just hear what we said? No, we affirmed mean you lost. I says, no, doesn't mean I lost. It means it was affirmed. This is pop the champagne tout. Why? And I said, I don't know why. But I know that at the end, I'll go back to this moment saying this was the best thing that ever happened. And at that moment in time, I put out my intention, my vibration for what I wanted. And I put that beam out there because there was a window, and then the window closed. And I thought, thank you for that window. I just sent out a command that cannot be rescinded. It's like, you know, the movie that reminded me of? Dr. Strangelove. You ever see Dr. Strangelove with Peter Sellers? It's a Stanley Kubrick movie where they have these B-52s with nuclear weapons and they send out an order to attack Soviet Union, and the order can't be rescinded. And so they're, you know, and it was some crazy lunatic general sent it out. Of course, the movie is called Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned Not to Worry and Love the Bomb. That's the name, right? That's the name of the movie, yeah. But I remember that because that's what happens when you have that window. When you have that window and it opens, it's like a portal. You can send out a vibration and then it closes. It cannot be rescinded.
All right, guys, let's get this call started. Sheesh, there's a lot of lights in here actually behind me. Well, guys, let's make it happen. If everybody can hear me, see me good, can I please get a 1 in the chat if you guys can hear me, see me good? Let me see if I can get maybe like a bit of less light in the background. I don't want as much distractions for you guys. Nah, that's not better at all, actually. Okay, I guess, man, actually. Is there a connector there? Is there like an outlet there? An outlet, because I'm gonna need an outlet. If I sit here, nah. I guess we're gonna have to rock it out like that. Nah, you good, bro. Don't even trip. We'll rock it out like that. Imagine if I'm just running the call like this the whole time. All right, now we'll run it. We'll run it this way. We'll let me sit right here. I'll sit right here so that way it's not that much light. All right, guys. So welcome to Mornings with Nena. As you guys can see, I'm not home right now. I'm actually at the gym, so I'm gonna get a workout in after this. So they have like this little work area right here at the gym. So, you know, we're able to get some work in, and I'm actually, you know, excited to be here because, you know, we've been working hard. Anybody else have done their morning routine? Put a 1 in the chat box. Actually, not a 1. Put a 2 in the chat box if you've been working hard these last couple of days. Because look, guys, to be honest, today is the 7th day of the year, which means, you know, we have 7 days since we started the new year. And that's the beauty of what we have going on here, right? It's 7 days of consistency, 7 days of, you know, becoming a better version of yourself, 7 days of reading the books, right? 7 days of writing your goals down, writing down your vision for what it is that you want. Now, real quick, I want to see something really fast. I want to see something real quick. Who has done their congratulations letter for January or for the year of 2025? Put a 5 in the chat box if you've done your congratulations letter for 2025, okay? I know you guys saw my reel. I don't know if you guys saw my reel that I did yesterday, but if you did, you know, I challenged every single one of my followers to do the exact same thing, which was I challenged everybody to write a congratulations letter. All right. And what I want you to do in that congratulations letter, I want you to start congratulating yourself ahead of time for everything that you're going to accomplish in 2025, right? Congratulate yourself for the business you're going to build. Congratulate yourself for the person you're going to become, for the money that you're going to make, for the relationship that you're going to build with God, right? For the relationship that you're going to build with your significant other, the places you're going to travel with too. Like everything that you're going to do this year, congratulate yourself for it. The money you're going to save, the crypto portfolio you're going to build. Like sit there and actually think about it. Like, yo, what do I really want this year? If failure was not an option, okay, and you could have everything that you want this year, okay, what would that congratulations letter be filled with? Okay, and be creative. And remember, guys, your mind has no limits. All right. The only limits we have are what? Finish it for me in the chat. What are the only limits we have in life? Okay. We have limits in life, but only certain people know the only limits we have in life. What are the only limits we have in life? Exactly, Zion. The ones we put on ourselves. Okay, the ones we put on ourselves. We limit ourselves with the limits on what we think we can accomplish, the money we think we can make, the people we think we can become, the characteristics we think that we can develop. Okay, so don't allow yourself to place any limits on yourself. Don't be the person that places limits on you. Be the person that be like, you know what? I've never earned $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month. I'm gonna go do it. You know, as an example, I almost limited myself, right? Because one of the limits I almost placed on myself is, as you guys can see, I have 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. And one of my limits was, I was like, I don't know if I could get to 100,000 this year. I caught myself saying that, and I was like, why would you say that to yourself? No, this year we're gonna get to 100,000 subscribers. I don't know how. I have no idea how, but I caught myself limiting myself. I almost caught myself just saying, yo, Neno, just settle for 20,000, 25,000. But that was me limiting myself. You realize how we limit ourselves? I recognized in myself. I recognize myself placing a limit on myself. So this is something just so that you guys can remember. Don't place any limits. Shoot high. Go out there, because worse that, like they say, right? Shoot for the moon and land on the stars. All right. But if you limit yourself and you don't push yourself to the max of your ability, okay, then you'll never really know what you're truly capable of, right? It is so important for you guys to understand, because I set the goal for 100K, subscribers, and obviously I'm going to push for it. But worst case scenario, let's say I land at 80K, 90K subscribers. How amazing is that? I was limiting myself to 20, 30K. Now I'm at 90K. You see the beauty of what is possible here. So when you write that congratulations letter, guys, don't place no limits on yourself. Everything that you want, remember, you could be, do, or have everything that you want in life. All right, guys. So make sure you guys do that congratulations letter if you haven't already, because it's going to be a good one. Now, great morning to everybody. Yes, congratulations on 100 subscribers. I'm so excited for it. It's happening. Now, as you guys know, for the month of January, we're studying this book right now. Now, obviously, I'm studying this book in private with my private group, but I'm also taking small little lessons from each chapter so that I can be able to teach them on today's call as well, so that I can be able to just continue with it, because I don't want to be teaching different things. I'm going to just take small little lessons from what I, already taught, and I'm a reiterate a couple of things, but also be able to teach you guys some things. So today, I'm going to talk about self-image principles, okay? And this is so important because self-image is the secret that has been hidden by a lot of people, okay? They call self-image the secret of the ages, because a lot of people have not truly understood the importance of developing a positive self-image about yourself, and understanding that the way that you see yourself is the way that the world is going to see you. So you got to be an individual that you got to change the way that you're looking at yourself. What is the image that you're going to create about yourself? How are you going to see yourself this year? And one of the things that, we talked about yesterday on our private call, we talked about the characteristics that we developed over the years because of past experiences and, things that happen, humiliations and stuff like that. And I was giving people examples of, a couple of things that happened to me in the past that caused me to create this self-image about myself that was a failure self-image, that it didn't matter how much work I put in. It didn't matter, the business that I was in. It didn't even matter if you gave me the opportunity of a lifetime and you dumped it on my lap. I was not going to be successful because I had a failure type self-image about myself. And I know for some of you guys, that may be hard to believe because you're like, well, Neno, how is that possible, bro? You know, you've accomplished all these great things. You have this podcast, you've traveled all around the world, you speak on stages. But what I want you to know is that it wasn't always like that. Okay. I used to be scared to speak. Okay. Public speaking was my biggest fear. Okay. I used to stutter. All right. I used to shake when I used to speak. This wasn't my specialty. All right. I wasn't always as confident as I am today. Okay. I didn't believe in myself as much as I believe in myself today. I wasn't as disciplined as I am today. All of this is, remember, this has all happened within the last 5 years, 6 years. But why do I say that? Because I know what it feels like to have a self-image that's not helping me grow and it's not helping me elevate in business. Okay. But now I know how to also develop the self-image to help me become the person that I know I am capable of becoming. And I share that with you because every single one of us are in different, parts of our journey. Some of us are in the beginning parts of our self-image journey. Some of us are in the development part where you're now developing that new self-image. Some of you have developed a great self-image and now you're working on develop that next level self-image, right? So we're all in different areas of your life. So real quick, I just kind of want to see a glimpse of everything real quick. You're either in 3 areas when it comes to your self-image. You're either in the beginning of your self-image where you're now going to start to develop a new self-image for yourself. 2, you are already in the development of it and you're working on it each and every single day. Or 3, you've already developed a great self-image and now you're looking to get to the next level in your self-image. Based off of that, where are you? Are you 1, beginning your journey? 2, you're in the middle of your journey? Or 3, you've already developed a great self-image and you're looking to get to the next level? Let me know in the chat where you guys at. I just kind of want to see who we have here. Okay, there we go. Okay. So I see some 2s. I see some 3s. I see some 1s. I love that, Diamond. I love that you're at the beginning of your self-image. Cedric is at a 2. Vanessa's at a 2. We got some 2s. I see some 1s. Amber's at a 3. I could definitely see that, sis. Mina's at a 3. I could definitely see that 100%. Okay. I see some 2s, some 3s. Okay. Perfect. So those are the 3 areas that you can probably be at right now. Okay. When I started entrepreneurship, I was at level 1. Okay. That's where I was at, level 1, figuring out what was going to be my new self-image that I was going to start to develop. I see a lot of us are at level 2. All right. A lot of people are at level 2. You're in that development. And what is that development stage? Well, the development stage is where you're working on yourself every day. You said you're going to go do your morning routine 7 days a week. You're doing it 7 days a week. You said you're going to get in the gym. You're going to lose that weight. You're going to get stronger. You're in the gym every single day. You're reading the books. Okay. You're doing what makes you uncomfortable. Speaking in public makes you uncomfortable. Now you're doing more speaking engagements. You said putting your face on camera and doing videos and content and all of this stuff made you uncomfortable and you're doing it. You're in that development stage. Okay. Now, for a lot of us, I see we got some 3s as well. We've been able to develop a great self-image. Okay. Myself, I've been able to develop a self-image that I'm very happy with. I see that Michelle also developed a great self-image. I see that OSTN. I see that Mina's here has also developed a great self-image. Amber, a couple people on this call. Well, the beautiful thing about it is at 3, here's the challenge with people that are at 3 is that now we got to develop a brand new self-image to help us get to that next level. Okay. We have to find out, okay, what is going to be this new self-image? The beauty of it is that we've already got ourselves established characteristics. Okay. But at every level, you got to develop a new self-image to help you get to that next level. So here are some of the principles that we all got to understand. And if anybody has the book, okay, Psycho-Cybernetics, I'm going to be reading from page X, okay, which is at the beginning of it, right? At the very, very beginning of it in the preface. If you have the book, I'm going to be reading from the beginning. And I just kind of want to give you guys some perspective so you guys can understand where I'm coming from with this. Now, here's what he says at the very top, the general principles of self-image. This is going to be a very basic call, but very powerful because we all need it. Even myself, I need to hear this. He says the self-image is the key to human personality and human behavior. Change the self-image and you change the personality and the behavior. All right. So here's what all of us have to do. And I actually gave this as an assignment on yesterday's call for our private group, I challenged everybody outside of the congratulations letter. The congratulations letter is one thing, but I also challenged everybody to develop and create their 2025 self-image. What is your 2025 self-image? How do you see yourself becoming in 2025? And you got to sit down, and this is not something that you can just think about. You can't just think about, well, Nano, I'm going to be more disciplined this year. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. You have to actually sit down and create it. All right. I want you to look past the months, and I want you to think about if this was the best version of me in 2025, what characteristics, how does this person think? How does this person act? How does this person dress? How does this person handle problems? Okay. How is this person emotional intelligence? How disciplined is this individual? How's his relationship with God? His or her relationship with God? I want you to think about the image that you want to create for yourself. And remember, failure is not an option. Failure is not an option. You get to pick and choose. Think about almost like, in video games, how you get to create your own character. I want you to create your own character for 2025 for you. But you have to actually sit down and do it. Like I said, you can't just think about it. You can't just think, well, Nano's going to be this, and that. Okay? Like Jim Rohn says, do not use your mind as a filing cabinet. It's too much going on. You got to actually sit down with your own handwriting and create. Okay? I want to see you, Joel, create your 2025 self-image. Elizabeth, Zion, Julia, Samuel, Joyona, Eunice, Ricardo. Create your 2025 self-image. Create your character. Who are you going to be this year? Because you need to identify it first. All right. One of the keys is you got to have clarity on who you want to be. As a matter of fact, I'm reading chapter 3 right now. Okay. I'm reading chapter 3 right now. And chapter 3 is all about imagination, right? And it's talking about imagination. I'm not going to jump straight into chapter 3. But one of the keys to being able to create the life that you want is you got to have, number one, clarity. You need to be exactly clear on who you're going to become in 2025. It can't be a doubt. It can't be like I want to do this year. Maybe I want to do this. Maybe I want to build a relationship with God this year. No, you need to have extreme clarity like that. You can see it so clear to the point that there's no blur at all. Because if you have a blur, then there's no clarity there. There can't be a blur. It has to be extreme clarity on the person that you want to become. Now, here it goes. Here's the key, and it continues. Once you finish that, now you got to start working to become the person that you identified in your 2025 self-image. Because here's what he says, and I love this right here. He says, positive thinking does indeed work when it is consistent with the individual's self-image. But he says this, he says it literally cannot work when it is inconsistent with the self-image. All right. So positive thinking works. I could be the most positive person in the world. I could think positive. I could say all these amazing things about myself. Okay. But at the end of the day, if my self-image is not consistent with my positive thinking, then it doesn't matter. And let me explain this a little bit deeper. I'm going to repeat the thing that he says again. Positive thinking does indeed work when it is when it is consistent with the individual's self-image. But it does not work when it's inconsistent. So here's the problem. When I started my entrepreneurship journey, all right, I had positive thinking. Like I was like, okay, I'm gonna be successful. I'm gonna make sure that I do my best in this business. One day I'm gonna make 6 figures, all in, and so on and so forth, right? So I had positive thinking, but the problem was my self-image was not in alignment. Then what do you mean by that? Well, the way I used to see myself was I used to see myself as somebody who wasn't confident. I used to doubt myself. I had insecurities about myself. Okay. I had a lot of fears, a lot of doubts, a lot of insecurities. So even though I had positive intentions to build the business and to become a successful person, my self-image was not in alignment. And in reality, this is what's happening to most people in business, in entrepreneurship, at their jobs, and everything. This is the reason why most people fail, believe it or not. Is think about it. Everybody has positive intentions to create and be successful and provide for their family. But the thing is that their self-image is not in alignment with their thinking. How can you say, how can you have all this positive thinking, but then you have fears, you have doubts, you have insecurities, you have all these things that are not in alignment with your self-image? So it doesn't matter how positive you are, how good of a person you think you are, and all these things. If your self-image is not in alignment, you'll always be stuck, right? Because look, you have positive thinking, but your self-image is down here. Okay? Your self-image is down here. It has to be like this. You're thinking positive, but you have a positive self-image about yourself. When you get it like this, that's the key. Here's what's missing. You got to let it become one. The thing is that everybody's not in alignment. People say, yo, I want to be successful. I'm going to make 6 figures. I'm going to do this. And I love that people have the positive intentions and that they're speaking it. Okay. This is why there's people that you see, they do their morning routines every day. They're in the gym, they do the affirmations, they have the goal cards, they have these things. But no matter how much work they do, for some reason, they still never get the success. Put a 2 in the chat box if you know somebody like that. If you know somebody that always does what they're supposed to do. They're reading the books. They're listening to the audios. They go to every event. They invest in mentorship. They do it all. Look, let me tell you, I've been that person. I've been the person that went to the events, that read the books, that invested in mentorship. I did it all. And for some reason, my results never changed. For some odd reason. And I sat there and I'm like, yo, how is this possible? How is it possible that I'm doing all the work? I'm reading a book a week. I at one point in my journey, I was very confused. Before I read this book, I was so confused on why this was all happening to me. I'm like, yo, I'm reading the books. I'm listening to the podcasts and the audios. I'm investing into the events. I'm traveling to Dallas. I'm going to Vegas. I'm going to these big mindset entrepreneur events. Okay. But nothing is changing. My results are the same. Problems are still happening in my life. It feels like I'm working backwards. But the thing was, even though I was doing all this work, behind closed doors, that silent voice in my head kept saying, you're not good enough, bro. You're going to fail. You're not a good speaker. I don't know if you're going to be able to retire your parents, bro. That silent voice, okay, was in my ear all the time. I don't think you can do this. I can't. I try. And that silent voice was destroying me. The silent killer. That was the word I was looking for. Damn, Mina, I'm so glad you're on this call. I was thinking about that word. It's not the silent voice, it's the silent killer. The silent killer was killing all my dreams every day because it didn't matter. Neno, you read all the books. You went to all the events. Amazing, bro. You did it all, bro. That's fine. Neno, you're working. I'm doing the things, but it didn't matter. You know why? Because the silent killer was in my ear. Neno, I don't know if you're going to make it. Neno, I don't know if you're going to be able to build this business. I don't know if you're going to be able to retire your parents. You're not a good speaker. I used to think that, I was telling people yesterday about how I didn't believe that I was handsome, and I used to think that I was ugly and I was okay and all these things. And guess what? All those things was part of my self-image. All the experiences of the past were following me into my business now because I failed at becoming a baseball player. So because I failed and I let my family down and my little brother and my community down, that failure feeling followed me into business. Because I had a humiliation in my first public speaking class, where I went up and I started shivering and my voice started cracking and I started stuttering. I used to tell myself that I was a horrible speaker, that public speaking was something I can't do. So all these things followed me into the business side. It followed me into entrepreneurship. And for like the first year or two, it didn't matter what I did, I was always stuck. And I'm glad that one thing I am glad is that I was very resilient, though. That even though I kept failing and failing and failing and failing and failing and failing and failing, I kept showing up, though. Not everybody's like me, okay? Not everybody's resilient like this, okay? Because most people, after they fail a couple of times, okay, they quit. They quit. And I've seen not hundreds, thousands of people quit on their dreams, not because the business didn't work, not because they didn't have a mentor, not because of anything that they ever say. It was because their lack of self-image. You ever realize when somebody quits on something, they're always quick to point the finger? You ever realize that when people quit, they're like, oh, it was because of the company, or it was because I didn't have help, or it was because this. You never see anybody be like, yo, you know what? It was me. It didn't work because me. I was the one that was doubting myself. I was the one that had the fears. It's never them. It's always everybody else. Okay? And I can tell you because I know these people. I have friends of mine that are brothers and sisters of mine that I've told them, yo, the only reason this didn't work for you was because you didn't believe in yourself. It wasn't because you didn't have a mentor. It wasn't because of the company. It wasn't because you didn't have the team or any of that. It wasn't because of any of that. It was because you didn't work on your self-image. And that's what he says here in the book, guys. This is so important. This is why I'm so focused this month on teaching you guys the importance of self-image, so that you can start to develop that self-image. Because that's what he says. He says it literally cannot work when it is inconsistent with the self-image. Until the self-image has been changed, nothing works. I'm going to repeat that again. Until the self-image itself has been changed, nothing works. Nothing works. So this is why the personal work has to be done. It has to be done. Why you think I chose to do this book in January? Because you know what's the problem, guys? It don't matter what you do this year. If you don't have the alignment in your self-image, you know what's going to happen? You're just going to have another year that passes by. And how many of us are sick of the years just passing by and you're like, yo, man, when's my success going to happen? When is this going to happen for me? You guys sick of that? Are you guys sick of that too? Put a 2 in the chat box if you're kind of sick of, yo, when is it finally going to happen for me? Right? When is it finally going to blow up for me? When is it finally going? When am I finally going to get there? Because years keep passing by. Right? Look at how many years keep passing by. And you know what happened, guys? Another year will pass by. Another 2 years has passed by. Another 3 years passed by. And you know what somebody told me the other day that hit me like a ton of bricks? He said, Nano, let me ask you a question. He said, think about this really. He said, how much has really changed for you since COVID? And I sat there for a little bit. Like, I want you to actually think about this real quick. He said, how much has actually changed for you since COVID 2020? And I sat there, and for me, a couple of things have changed, right? And I'm grateful, but he's like, don't you feel like you deserve to be a lot further than you are right now? Okay, put a 3 in the chat box if you agree with that. Put a 3 in the chat box if you believe that you deserve to be a lot further than you are right now at this very moment. Okay. Me, myself, let me put some 3s in the chat for you guys, because I don't want you guys to think that it's just, yeah, I'm in this with ya. Okay. This is easier said than it is done. So I sat there and I was thinking about it, and I'm like, damn, bro, like, yo, COVID was five years ago now. I mean, in March, it'll be 5 years. Do you guys know that? In March, in 2 months, it'll be 5 years since COVID started. COVID, whatever we want to call it, the pandemic. 5 years. Look at how fast 5 years passed. And you know what's crazy? Another 5 years will pass by exactly the same. That's the scary part. That's what scares me, is that another 5 years will fly by like this. It'll fly by just like this, like a snap of a finger. It feels like it was just yesterday that we were wearing masks, okay? And that we were stuck in the house for a couple of months. Because now we have to make the change. He said, yo, you got to change the self-image. It doesn't matter how much work you do, presentations, events. If you don't change the self-image, if you don't change the way that you look at you, nothing is going to change. Another year will pass. And I know that everybody's positive and, yo, Nano, 2025 is my year. And, you know, the gym and this and that. And all of that is good, guys. Trust me. I love the optimistic. I love for people to have optimism and, you know, to believe in themselves and to speak positive. But it's not going to mean anything. I can tell you from experience, I've been the person who started my new year and this is my year. And you know what it ended up being? It ended up being some of my worst years. Has that ever happened to you guys too? You started the year and next thing you know, you're 5, 6, 7 months into the new year and you're like, man, I can't wait for this year to end because of how bad it's been. I've been there. I could tell you guys that. And you know why? Because sometimes, like I said, it doesn't matter the last 2 years. I know, trust me, tell me about it. It doesn't matter how much, okay, how positive you are. If the way that you're looking at yourself is not in alignment with the work that you're doing, nothing is going to change, guys. Nothing. So this is why this month, there needs to be a major focus. There has to be a major focus on you. There's nothing wrong with the character building years. I'm grateful for the last 2 years because the last 2 years exposed me. Okay, they exposed me and I needed those years. I needed to figure out my weaknesses. I needed to figure out the areas that I needed to get stronger in. Okay, because this next level in my life, I can't afford to have these discrepancies and these weaknesses and these things in my game. All right. You got to put the focus on you until the focus is on you. Like Mina said in the chat, it's so important. This is why right now I'm so focused on Nano. No smoking, no drinking, just every day up early, 6 a.m. every day. I'm literally taking the time from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. to work on Nano. I'm not distracted. I'm not taking phone calls. I'm not doing anything from 6 to 10. That's Nano's time. But you know what? My self-image in 2024, because in 2023, 2024, I was so off my self-image that I wasn't even waking up early. I was barely doing my morning routine. I would do my morning routine 1 week and then I wouldn't do it for 2 weeks. I would go to the gym 1 week and then I wouldn't go for the rest of the month. I was very inconsistent. And you know what the problem was too? I would make excuses for myself and I started to believe my excuses. Oh, nah, this year is a year for me to I need to rest more, man, this year. You know, I've worked so hard the last 5 years. I think this year for me is more rest. Oh, nah, man, I already, you know, back then I was hungry, but now, you know, I'm already making 6 figures, so I could take it a little bit easier now. And I started to tell myself these excuses about it, and I started to look at myself and I actually looked at myself in the mirror. I'm like, no, you haven't done anything, bro. What do you mean you already made it, bro? Like, you haven't bought your mom and dad that house you promised them. You haven't accomplished anything, bro. You haven't created 10, 26-figure earners in your organization. What are you comfortable with? What do you mean if this is the year to rest? You don't rest in the middle. We rest at the end. You don't rest in the middle. But remember, like I said, sometimes you start to buy into your own lies. You start to buy into these own lies and your own excuses about yourself, that you start to tell yourself these things enough that you start to believe them. You start to believe the lies you tell yourself about yourself. And eventually, if you tell yourself those things enough, you start to live those things. And the only reason I share these things with you is because I want you to know that I experience the same doubts, the same fears, the same insecurities as all of you guys. All right. Just because I come up here and I teach it and I have my book with me and I have my journal does not exclude me from the fact that I still got to work on these things myself. All right. I'm working on these things just as much as you guys are working on it as well. Okay. My challenges are a little bit different than yours, but we're all dealing with different challenges and different obstacles. But it's all a progress for all of us. So we got to identify what that is. But now, here's what it is. Once you've identified what that self-image is, now you got to keep alignment with that self-image. So for example, one of my self-images that I created for this year, one of the main things I prioritized, I said, one of the main things I'm going to do this year is God is going to be number one in my life. For my last couple of years, I've kind of put God in the back burner. Like I've just kind of like had him there, yeah, whatever. I said, this year, God is first. So what am I doing? The moment I wake up, the first thing I'm doing is prayer and Bible study. I'm at church on Sundays. I'm tithing every single week. Okay. I'm praying every chance I get. I'm limiting my temptations. Everything that has to do with me showing and proving that God is first in my life, I'm doing that. And I'm in alignment with it, and I'm doing it every day. Right now, I'm reading the book on Proverbs. All right. I'm tithing every week. I'm praying every morning. Okay. Every time I feel any doubt, any fear, any insecurity, I grab my Bible and I read it. All right. I'm on like a 6-day streak on my Bible app. I'm like, yo, all these apps on my phone have all this time spent. Let me spend more time on the Bible app. That was one of my self-images for 2025. Another one of my self-images is I want to get in the best shape of my life. I am in the best shape of my life. So what is that going to require? Me getting in the gym 5-6 days a week. I'm running this call as I'm speaking to you guys at the gym, as you guys can see. Look, I don't know if you guys can see the gym over there, but once I finish this workout here, I'm going to go get a workout in. Once I finish this call here, I'm going to go get a workout in. Why? Because it doesn't matter if I write down, oh, well, I'm going to get in the best shape of my life this year. If I write it down and then I'm only going to the gym once a week, or I'm skipping out on workouts, it'll never work, guys. Once you write down the person that you want to be, you have to now match and align your actions with that long enough until it becomes the self-image. I don't have that self-image that I wrote down yet. I don't have it yet. I wrote it down. I'm clear on what I want, but now I got to go out there and prove it. There's a difference. I got to go out there and prove it now. Another one of my self-images that I'm working on improving this year is my money management. My money management, I wanted to make sure I improved it this year because I've had poor money management the last couple of years. So what did I do? I'm following a budget. Okay. I know exactly where all of my money is going. I know how much money is going towards my expenses. I know how much money is going towards, my memberships and, travel and all the different things that I have in my life, all the different categories. Now I know. Back in 2024, I would get paid and it was like throwing money here, money there, eat out here. Now I know, yo, Nano, if you want to eat out, this is the small budget you have to eat out a week. It wasn't like before that I could eat out 5-6 days a week. Nano, you only have this small budget to eat out every single week now. and I got to keep that self-image. If I know that I only have, let's say, $100, $150 to eat out for the week, let's say as an example, I can't go spend $300, $400 a week on eating out if my budget for the week for eating out is $100 to $150. I got to be in alignment with the self-image that I created. All right. This is what I want you all to understand. Whatever you write down, you got to stick to that, because then this is what happens. If you don't stick to it, you know what happens? Then you start to feel guilty. You ever said you was going to go to the gym and you didn't go? How does that feel? You feel guilty. And then what ends up happening is you start to acquire all this guilt, all this shame, all this weight to yourself. And next thing you know what that happens? All that weight starts to hold you down, and it starts to slow you down. And you start to believe all of this weight. And what happens is you start to acquire something called spiritual debt. Spiritual debt. And trust me, spiritual debt is worse than real debt. Everybody's aware of debt, money debt. When you owe money to the banks, you owe money, whatever it is. Don't get caught up in the spiritual debt. And you know how you get spiritual debt? When you say you're going to do something and you don't do it. Oh, you said you was going to go to the gym, you didn't go. You said you was going to be reading every morning, you're not reading every morning. No, you said you was going to Bible study every day, and God has been the last thing that you do. You know what that will do to me? It will destroy me. You imagine how much that would hurt me if I came on this call, okay, and I told you guys, my main focus this year is to build a relationship with God, and I'm not doing anything to do that. You know what that's going to do to me? Because I publicly came on this call, told you guys I was going to do this. I wrote it down in my journal, and now I'm not living up to what I said I was going to do. That shame, that guilt, that spiritual debt, that thing adds up. Now, am I saying that you can't pay it off? Of course you can. All right. But there's nothing heavier than spiritual debt that you added on to yourself. There's nothing heavier than that. Because you know what it is? You got to carry that. And you can't pass it off to anybody else. You can't be like, yo, Hector, hold this debt for me, bro. Yo, Zion, can you pay this for me, bro? Can you do me a favor, bro? Can you pay this for me, J Miles? J Miles can't pay my spiritual debt. Nikki can't pay that for me. Claudia can't pay that for me. Money can't pay spiritual debt. They could give me $1,000. I'm still going to have the debt on me. The only way you pay off spiritual debt is by being impeccable with your word. Only you can pay that. So be careful with the debt that you add on to yourself. This is the thing, whatever you write on this journal, whatever you say you're going to do, stick to it. Because the last thing you want is to go out there and say you're going to do something and you don't do it. Because that's just going to add on that spiritual debt. And if you do it for a month, 2 months, 3 months, a couple of months, next thing you know, you're going to end up spending the rest of your year paying off debt that you didn't make a priority at the beginning of the year. And that has happened to me. I've been the person who has started the year, said I was going to do things, made all these New Year's resolutions, and I didn't live up to it. Okay, I said no drinking, no smoking for me the first 30 days. The other day, one of my friends who came to Florida, he was in Fort Lauderdale for his bachelor party. He invites me to come have dinner. First thing we do when we sit down for dinner, waiter comes around. What are you guys going to drink? Everybody's ordering espresso martinis. And right away, the temptation came. Damn, bro, I would love a nice little espresso martini right now. But I told myself, no drinking, no smoking, first 30 days. You know what I did? I'll just have water. Everybody looked at me like, yo, you serious? I'm like, yeah, bro, I'll just have water. I'm actually doing no drinking, no smoking all of January, dry January for me. If I would have gave in to the temptation, okay, which is what my sis Mina teaches me, okay, right? Pleasure, what is it? Remind me, please. What is it again? Pleasure over something. Peace over pleasure. Peace over pleasure. Okay. I had peace going back home. You know why? Because I said I wasn't going to drink the first 30 days. Okay. And I stuck to it. The pleasure would have been, yo, you know what? I'll have a little espresso martini and then I'll start again tomorrow. But that little pleasure right there at the moment, it would have haunted me going back home, because I would have been like, damn, bro, I broke my word. I said I wasn't going to drink in January and I drank. So at the time, it would have felt good. Yeah, yo, cheers. Cheers, espresso martinis, everybody. It would have been nice at the moment. But that ride home, and then when I woke up the next day, I would have had no peace. My mind would have been all messed up because I didn't stay true to my word. Peace over pleasure. Standards over feelings, all 2025. Keep a high standard of yourself. Hold yourself to the highest standard and keep those standards. I told myself, doesn't matter what happens. I'm not doing that in all of January, and I'm not breaking my word no matter what. You could come in here, tell me there's a party, whatever it is. I'm going to be the one drinking water in the corner by myself. If it could be 100 people in the party, 99 will be drinking. I'll be the one drinking water. I'm telling you, that's how serious I am. Because when you set to do something, you got to stay true to it, no matter all the distractions and the temptations around you. No matter how tired you are. Bro, my body is sore right now. But guess what? I said I wanted to have. I'm getting in the best shape of my life this year. So I got to get in the gym. No matter what. I was tired as hell this morning to wake up because I went to sleep late. But guess what? I had to get up because I said I got to get up. I got to read. I got to read my Bible. I got to do my morning routine. I got to do what's required. Realize how no matter what it is, you got to pick peace over pleasure. Because if I would have slept in today and missed my morning routine and missed my opportunity to do the gym, you know how I would have felt? I would have felt awful. And is that in alignment with my self-image? No, it's not in alignment with my self-image. So I would have been missed the line. But because I woke up and I read, I did my morning routine. I'm getting in the gym now after this. I did my morning routine. Okay. I get to read. I get to pray. I get to do these things. I get to work out. Now I feel good. And guess what it brings me? It brings me peace. Peace over pleasure. All of 2025. Standards over feelings. All of 2025. And guess what? There's going to be a lot of opportunities this year for pleasure. There's going to be a lot of opportunities where you're not going to feel good. But just remember, I'm going to pick peace and my standards over my feelings and the pleasure. All of 2025. Because peace and standards is what's going to be in alignment with your self-image. All these feelings and all this pleasure is what's going to get you off of alignment. And you know what? Let me tell you guys, the enemy works hard. The enemy works very, very, very hard. When you want to change, one of my favorite quotes says, the hardest thing about getting to the top is getting through the crowd at the bottom. Misery loves company. So what happens is, you want to change? They're going to start distracting you. Everything is going to start distracting you now. You spoke that you want to be the best version of yourself this year. Okay, here we go. Challenge after challenge after challenge after challenge. Oh, you're not going to drink or smoke? Fine. Let me put you in every circumstance that everybody around you is going to be drinking and smoking to see if it's true. Bro, that's literally how it works. That's literally how it works. Think about it. I spoke it, and then next thing you know, one of my friends is in my town, inviting me to his bachelor party, and everybody's ordering drinks. Notice how that happens. It's part of it. They invited me to the strip club after and everything. I'm like, nah, bro. I'm going home, my G. I love you, G. Live it up. It's your bachelor party. But I just came to show you some love here at the dinner. and I'm good, bro. I am not putting myself in that situation. I'm a ride, bro. And I just went home, okay, because I had to pick my peace over the pleasure. All right. I had to pick my peace over the pleasure. I had to pick the standards that I set over the feelings of me wanting to go. Okay. Same thing on, these things happen all the time. And guess what, guys? This is how you have to move all year. Because one of the things that I wrote down, Richardson, and I'm glad you put that out there, is I want to have better self-control and better self-emotional intelligence this year. All right. So I want to make sure that I have that self-control to be able to tell myself, hey, I'm not going to do that, and stick to it. I am going to wake up earlier, and I wake up early. Guys, this is really the principles of self-image. And if you can master this, guys, it's the change. And then this is the last thing. Okay. What you have to do is you got to build a self-image which works for you. It's called a success mechanism. Don't be the person that builds a self-image that works against you as a failure mechanism. Depending on how you, the operator, operates it, will determine if you accomplish your goals this year. So don't build a failure mechanism self-image. Build a success mechanism. And you know what the thing is, guys? We all know what that looks like. We all know what a success mechanism looks like. All of us do, because we know what we got to do. Guys, let's all be real. Have we not heard this before? A lot of what we said today, we already know this. Okay? But you know what it is? To know and to not do. Finish it for me in the chat so I can drink some of this smoothie, because I'm not, it's already down. To know and to not do is to not know at all, fam. So it doesn't matter that you know that you got to do better. If you're not doing it, you don't know at all. You don't know at all anything. It doesn't matter. You have to make the change. So that wraps up today's call. All right. I challenge you also as well. Okay. I'm ending the call a little bit. Actually, I'm ending it right on time. We have literally over 200 people on today's call. We got like 120 plus here and another 50, 60 people on Instagram. We have over 200 people on this call. I want all of you, if you haven't already, grab a piece of paper, grab your journal, and create your 2025 self-image. Take your time. Take your time. Do not just be like, oh, well, I'll do it some other time. No, do it today if you haven't done it. Okay. Who are you going to become in 2025? And remember, the most important thing about everything is called clarity. Can everybody type clarity in the chat box for me? Clarity. This is the work we got to do. This is personal development. This is personal development right here. This is what we're doing. We're personally developing ourselves. Get clear on what you want. And then once you're clear on what you want, make sure, okay, that whatever you wrote down in your journal and in that piece of paper, that all your actions moving forward match that. And you got to do it long enough, okay, until it becomes a reality. Because here's what he says in the books. Look at what he says in the book right here. It says reserve judgment for 21 days. Look at it right there. What do I mean by reserve judgment? Listen to this. Do not allow yourself to become discouraged if nothing seems to happen when you set about practicing the various techniques that are outlined in this book for changing your self-image. Instead, reserve judgment. You know what that means? Keep judgment to yourself. Keep the judgment to yourself and go on practicing for a minimum period of 21 days. So 21 days from today, let's say we all start today. I'm going to start today with you guys. I already got 7 days under my belt, but let's say we all start today, 21 days. He says it usually requires a minimum of 21 days to affect any perceptible change in mental image. So you got to do it for 21 days. So you got to do it every day, including the weekend. You can't be like, guys, this is not a job. You can't be like, well, no, I'm going to do it Monday through Friday, and then I'm going to take Saturday and Sunday off. This is not a job. Get that mindset out of your head. This is not a job. This is an everyday process. You don't get tired of working on yourself. This is not like you got to go work and physically lift things up. No. Every day for 21 days so that you can start seeing a change. Okay? He says, for you to see any perceptible change, it takes a minimum of 21 days, minimum, which means it could take you 30, it could take you 60, it could take you 90 days. We don't know. Everyone's going to be different based off of how deeply rooted those habits and that self-image is. So if you're someone who's maybe, this is for younger people, it's a lot easier. Okay, because maybe your self-image and it's also going to be based off of your experiences, your past, your traumas, the way you used to see yourself. It's all going to be different. It's all going to come based off of how deeply rooted your self-image actually is. And you know what? It don't matter if it takes you longer than others. Some might be able to do it in a shorter amount of time. Some is going to take them 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. At the end of the day, we're all going to the same place, which is to one thing, is to change our self-image. Mine may take me a certain amount of time. Yours may take you a certain amount of time. But the purpose is that we make it happen. But we got to stay consistent for a minimum of how many days? How many days do we got to stay consistent for a minimum? And here's the catch. If you slip up one day, you got to start from square one. So if you go 13, 14 days straight and then you take a day off, you got to start from one. You got to start from one again. This is not something that you could slip up on, guys. You can't slip up on this. Because let me tell you, if you can brush your teeth every day, if you can shower every day, if you can check your Instagram every single day, you can work on yourself every day. There's no excuses at all. There's zero excuses. Nobody on this call could tell me that you can't find 30 minutes to an hour a day to work on you. Nobody. I don't care how busy you are, how many kids you have, how many jobs you work. Nobody on this call for the 200 plus, nobody here can sit down and tell me, Nano, I didn't have time to work on myself for 30 minutes to an hour a day. You know what it was? It wasn't a priority to you. You know who's the top priority in your life right now in all of 2025? Who do you guys think the top priority in your life right now is? Okay. The top priority right now is you. You and God are your top priorities right now, because God will help you transform yourself. God wants you to work on you. You can't believe in God if you don't believe in yourself. So you got to believe in you. And that's the reality. But somebody told me that one. They're like, yo, how can you believe in God? You don't believe in yourself, bro. You got to believe in you. You got to believe in you. You got to believe that you're going to do it. And when you believe that you're going to do it, God will deliver. So I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I pray that you guys are also applying this information. Do not hop off this call and you heard me say, hey, create your 2025 self-image, and by next week you still haven't done it. Don't be that person. Be the person that jumps off this call and you're like, you know what, Nano, you're right. Let me write down my 2025 self-image and let me stay in alignment. No matter how uncomfortable it's going to make you, no matter how, whatever it is, go out there and do it and stay in alignment. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I pray that you guys have a beautiful rest of your day. I will see you guys back here again on Thursday for another episode of Mornings with Nano on YouTube and on Instagram. Go out there, create your self-image. I am on this journey with y'all. All right. So right now, these are not calls you want to miss. This is the best that I have felt in a very long time. And I am in the process of creating one of the most elite self-images that I've ever created in my life. And I'm going to show you guys. I'm not going to tell you guys what to do. I'm going to show you guys. Remember Nano right here, January, because the Nano you guys see in January is not going to be the Nano that y'all see in June. It's not going to be the Nano that y'all see next year. But you guys had the process to walk with me here. I'm not already there. I'm saying, yo, let's go together. Come on, let's do this together. I'm not telling you guys, I'm not at the finish line and I'm like, hey, come here. I'm saying, yo, y'all ready? All right, let's do this together now. If you missed the calls, just make sure you catch the recording. So I love y'all. I appreciate you guys. I'm going to do a little prayer for us, and then we'll wrap it up right there. Little prayer, and we out of here. Quick prayer. Everybody bow your heads. Let's pray. Father God, we just want to say thank you so much for allowing us to wake up on this beautiful Tuesday morning. Because we woke up today, we know that we are on the list to continue to become the best version of ourselves. We are so committed to this more than ever right now, because we know that the only way that we can continue to build the kingdom is by us becoming the versions of ourselves that we deserve to be, the versions of ourselves that you see us becoming. And now we are more committed than we've ever been. So we want to thank you for the knowledge, the wisdom. We want to thank you for the strength that you're giving us each and every single day to show up. We want to thank you for giving us the discernment to understand the difference between good and bad, and just always being there for us and creating this beautiful community that we can grow with and that we can elevate with. I pray that you put your healing hand over anybody that has any traumas that they got to heal, any past experiences that they got to heal from. Heal those individuals from that so that they can continue to work on their self-image. And let's go out there and let's have a great productive day and a great productive week. We love you. We appreciate you. We give you all the praise, all the glory. Everything we're doing is for you, God. We love you and we appreciate you. In God's name we pray. Amen. 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 All right. So I love y'all, fam. Let me go get this great workout in. Let me stay in alignment with my self-image. Thank you for everybody that took the time to jump on today's call. Go do that assignment and go have a great day and be the best version of yourself. I believe in all of y'all, and I know that this is our best year ever. It is already, and I know that it's in alignment, fam. God bless you guys. Enjoy.